Back on Sports Bit. Big game breakdown continues. Live odds, sportsbookreview.com. Washington on the road against Oregon. The Huskies 9. 69.5 the total. How serious is the path for Chris Peterson and Washington to the playoffs? Could be favored in every game the rest of the season. And you look, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, if they win out, they're likely in. And it didn't help Washington that they played Idaho, Portland State, and Rutgers non-conference, but a great performance on national TV against Stanford. But now they have to exercise the demons, Teddy. They've lost 12 in a row to Oregon and 11 by double digits.
Sure, but let's talk about this as a concept first. Here are the Washington Huskies. We're talking about Alabama, clear path if they went out. Ohio State, clear path if they went out. Clemson, clear path if they went out. No one has talked about Washington into national champions in the same breath in at least 15 years. So this is real for the Huskies. They're going to be favorites in every game the rest of the way. They're better on paper and based on power numbers than every other team in a loaded conference. Now, you talk about the fact they didn't play anyone. And it'll be an interesting decision for the committee if it comes down to Washington or Houston. But wait, we're not going to have these discussions in the first week of October or the third week of October. We'll start talking about this stuff really in November. But that Rutgers, Idaho, Portland State trio may end up coming back to haunt them. That being said, you talk about the fact they've lost 12 straight to the Ducks, 11 of those losses coming by double-digit margins, but Oregon's been the better program. They've been the better team. Again, for the last 15 years, it's been consistent. Oregon's been better. That's not the case in 2016. Washington is better. Washington is way better. And the Ducks, their defense is a mess, injury-riddled, and looks like they're going to go with the freshman quarterback and build for the future. That's not a good sign against a team like Washington.
What do you think of that? I mean, this is quite the conundrum for Helfrich because he's on the hot seat. I would have fired him already. Fans there want Scott Frost, who's doing a great job in Central Florida. Here, he's coaching for his job, but does he say, all right, I'm gonna play the young guy?
It's an interesting question. If I'm Helfrich, hell no, I don't play the young guy. And not against this defense. This is the wrong defense to go and get thrown into the mix with little experience against. We talked about Washington last week. We had him as one of our plays of the day against Stanford. Loaded on the defensive line, bunch of playmakers in the secondary. That's not a combination that you want for a quarterback that is facing his first tough competition for the first time. Mark Helfrich, quote, everywhere across the board there's competition. Naturally, that position, the quarterback position, gets a lot of blame, a lot of credit, neither warranted. We're making adjustments everywhere. But you got the quote from the quarterback coach, David Yost, there, Paulie?
I have it.
That one, to me, I think speaks volumes about where they're at right now, which is we don't even have a quarterback, let alone their defense.
Yes, his quote is, who's right now the best guy to lead us to a victory is how we evaluate. Prukop's experience and now playing within the system for the first 5 games, understanding what we're doing in the run game, understanding what we're doing in the protections are a bonus. But Justin gets that every day in practice, but it's different in practice mode than a game mode, end quote. And you're going against a nasty defense, and Stanford couldn't move the ball on him.
No, and look, and neither Prukop nor Herbert can help a miserable defense that's riddled with injuries. The first 2 Pac-12 games, they played Colorado and Washington State. That duo went for 92 points and 1,244 yards. That's both points and yards, the highest allowed in back-to-back games for Oregon in the history of the program. And look, I was a Brady Hoke fan. What he did at Ball State in the MAC hasn't been done before or since. He got them to 12 wins. Ball State, all right. He took San Diego State, which was in the doldrums. It was pre-Rocky Long, and turned them, had the best season at San Diego State that they'd had in decades. He crashed and burned at Michigan, and I'm not convinced he's the right style of defensive coordinator to fit in the Pac-12 so far. That Ducks defense has been pretty darn bad.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts. Shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.